Welcome to the DIY Honda Garage channel. The Diagnostic Trouble Code, DTC P0497, signals that there's a low purge flow in the Evaporative Emissions Control System, EVAP, of the Honda Civic models from 2011 to 2015. This system is crucial for capturing and recycling fuel vapors from the fuel tank, helping to prevent harmful emissions from entering the atmosphere. Common components affected include the EVAP canister, which stores fuel vapors, the purge valve, which controls the flow of these vapors, and the fuel tank pressure (FTP) sensor, which monitors the pressure in the fuel system. These components are typically located under the vehicle near the fuel tank and along the intake manifold. Accurate diagnosis is essential, as this issue can affect vehicle performance as well as the environment by leading to increased emissions. DTC P0497 pertains to the EVAP system's inability to maintain proper purge flow levels. This means that the system isn't effectively venting fuel vapors as designed, potentially leading to increased emissions. The systems involved in this process include the EVAP canister, which captures and stores vapor, the purge valve that releases vapor into the engine for combustion, and the FTP sensor, which measures the fuel tank pressure. Locations of these components include the EVAP canister, typically located near the rear of the vehicle, the purge valve near the engine's intake, and the FTP sensor, usually positioned on or near the fuel tank. Understanding where each component resides aids mechanics in diagnosing and rectifying issues. Problems can arise due to blockages, faulty connections, or component failures. The causes of DTC P0497 can be attributed to several issues within the EVAP system. Firstly, poor electrical connections, such as loose terminals at the FTP sensor or ECM, can interrupt the flow of signals necessary for the system's operation. Blocked lines or tubes in the EVAP canister purge system may be another significant factor, causing restrictions that prevent proper vapors from flowing. Additionally, a faulty purge valve could fail to open or close properly, inhibiting the purging process. Each of these issues not only affects the system's functionality, but also the overall performance of the vehicle. Identifying these exact causes is crucial in resolving the DTC and ensuring environmental compliance. When DTC P0497 is triggered, drivers may notice various symptoms. The most immediate is a check engine light illuminating on the dashboard, alerting the driver to an emission issue. Additionally, there may be signs of poor fuel economy, as the engine struggles to manage the fuel-air mixture efficiently due to improper vapor flow. This inefficiency can result in increased emissions, which could lead to a failed emissions test. Other symptoms can include unusual engine performance, stalling, and rough idling, indicating that the engine isn't running optimally. Recognizing these symptoms early helps prevent further complications and ensures the vehicle remains compliant with emission standards. The troubleshooting process begins with problem verification. First, turn the ignition switch to the on position, specifically to the II setting, which powers the vehicle's electrical systems without starting the engine. Then, use the Honda Diagnostic System, HDS, to clear the DTC, which resets the system and allows for fresh testing. Following that, you must perform the EVAP function test using the HDS. This test determines whether the system is operating correctly. If the test results in a pass, the vehicle may have an intermittent issue, prompting a detailed check of critical connections such as the FTP sensor and the ECM. If the test fails, further inspection is necessary, leading to the next troubleshooting steps. In the second step of troubleshooting DTC P0497, it's essential to visually check the EVAP canister purge line. Begin by turning the ignition switch to the lock position. which completely powers down the vehicle's electrical components. The next step is to inspect the purge line, which runs between the throttle body and the EVAP canister, for any poor connections, visible blockages, or physical damage. A damaged line can impede the proper flow of vapors, ultimately triggering the DTC. If the line seems to have issues, repairs or reconnections must be made accordingly. If this visual inspection indicates that the line is intact, we can safely proceed to the next troubleshooting step. The third troubleshooting step involves determining the possible failure area within the EVAP system. Begin by disconnecting the vacuum hose from the EVAP canister purge valve. This allows for direct testing of the purge flow. Then, connect a T-fitting and vacuum gauge to the exposed hose for accurate measurement. It is crucial to apply a vacuum of approximately 2 kPa or 0.6-inch ng to evaluate how the system reacts. By selecting EVAP PCS on in the inspection menu of the HDS, you can observe if the vacuum releases immediately. If it does release promptly, proceed to the next step. If it does not, we move to check the EVAP canister purge valve for issues. In Step 4 of Troubleshooting DTC P0497, you need to check the functionality of the EVAP canister purge valve. Begin by setting the HDS to EVAP PCS off, which allows for an isolated test of the purge valve. Like before, you need to disconnect the vacuum hose from the purge valve. Next, connect your vacuum gauge and T-fitting to the valve. In this step, apply the same amount of vacuum, around 2 kPa or 0.6-inch height per second, to this valve. Upon selecting EVAP PCS on in the HDS, observe whether the vacuum releases immediately. If it does, the purge valve functions correctly, and you must then check for blockage in the line between the purge valve and the EVAP canister. If the vacuum does not release, however, the purge valve likely requires replacement. Step 5 involves checking the EVAP canister purge line on the engine side. To execute this step, you will need to connect the vacuum pump and gauge to the vacuum hose. Once connected, start the engine and let it idle to check if the system produces vacuum. A consistent vacuum reading would indicate that the purge line on the engine side is functioning correctly, allowing for normal operation of the EVAP system. If no vacuum is present, this suggests the presence of a blockage somewhere in the line between the EVAP canister purge valve and the intake manifold. Identifying and rectifying this blockage is crucial, and verification of the repair must follow to ensure successful resolution of the DTC. In the final step of troubleshooting DTC P0497, the focus turns to the FTP sensor performance check. First, you will want to make sure the ignition switch is in the lock position. Next, carefully remove the FTP sensor while keeping its connector attached to safeguard against any accidental disconnections. Then, connect the T-fitting, vacuum pump, and gauge to the FTP sensor. After this setup, turn the ignition switch to the on setting, but don't start the engine. Check the reading from the FTP sensor in the HDS data list and slowly apply vacuum, approximately 1.3 kilopascals or 0.4 inches per second to the hose. Observe if the value changes in the HDS. A change indicates that the FTP sensor is functioning correctly, while no change signifies that the sensor requires replacement. Once troubleshooting has been completed and necessary repairs made, it is time for final repair verification. Start by turning the ignition switch to the lock position, ensuring all electronic components are completely powered down. All parts that were previously removed during troubleshooting need to be reinstalled correctly in the reverse order of removal. Following reinstallation, turn the ignition switch back to the on position. Additionally, reset the Engine Control Module ECM using the HDS, which allows it to recalibrate after repairs. Complete the ECM idle learn procedure and finish by performing the EVAP function test again through the HDS. A successful pass of this test confirms that the repairs were effective and resolves the DTC. Preventive maintenance plays a crucial role in avoiding complications like DTC P0497 in the future. Regular system checks should be a part of vehicle maintenance regimens, ensuring all components function optimally. Aim to keep all electrical connections tight, as loose connections are a common cause of errors. Regularly inspecting the lines and hoses associated with the EVAP system for any signs of wear or damage helps in early identification of potential issues, allowing for timely repairs. Scheduling periodic diagnostic tests using HDS before any DTCs appear can catch any inconsistencies early. This proactive effort not only benefits vehicle performance, but also ensures compliance with emissions regulations and enhances longevity. In conclusion, DTC P0497 indicates problems within the EVAP system specifically relating to low purge flow. It's vital to conduct thorough checks of all associated components, including the EVAP canister, purge valve, and FTP sensor to accurately diagnose issues. Systematic troubleshooting steps aid in pinpointing failures and ensuring solutions are implemented effectively. The maintenance of strong electrical connections and the prevention of line blockages are key strategies in circumventing future problems. As we aim for both vehicle performance efficiency and emission compliance, understanding the importance of these systems can contribute significantly to vehicle longevity. Proactive maintenance can save both time and cost by addressing issues before they escalate. Please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.